Hey guys, I don't mean to be an alarmist, but it turns out we have spies infiltrating our government, and federal workers are just turning a blind eye. This was uncovered in a big expose.
You said you dated a Chinese girl?
Yeah, I was supposed to sort of report what I knew about her.
Is there a concern that it could be related to CCP though?
I know her dad, but he's straight up Communist Party. She could have been a spy even, I don't really know. I defied my government for love.
Oh, a CCP spy, who knows? Anyway, James O'Keefe from Project Veritas joins me today to blow the lid off of his investigation. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales, Unfiltered. Happy Friday. So we'll get into all of that. Again, kind of nuts that nobody's raising more alarm bells about the CCP possibly infiltrating our government with all of the ways that they are already trying to spy on us. But by now you've heard the news. Should not be surprising whatsoever. Donald Trump was snubbed from the Nobel Peace Prize. And when you look at how much Donald Trump, the humanitarian, that's what I'm going to start calling him, Donald Trump, the humanitarian. When you look at Donald Trump, the peacemaker, and all that he has done, I can't think of anything more that he would need to have done to promote peace around the world. He literally just brought peace to the Middle East again. But instead, it went to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado for her tireless work promoting democratic and human rights for the people of Venezuela, and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. So, hold on. It says here it was her struggle to achieve the transition from dictatorship to democracy. Did she actually pull any of that off? Because as far as I can tell, the country's still being ruled by a dictator and carries out a whole bunch of human rights abuses. And on top of that, they also are still sending a bunch of drugs to our country to kill our citizens. So this woman is in a struggle session, has not been successful. And they're like, well, she tried. But she tried really hard, guys. She gets a participation trophy. It was a E for effort. Good job. You didn't do it, but we know your heart was in the right place. I mean, this is just laughable at this point. I don't know why anyone would take this seriously at all. But the Nobel chairman tried to come up with, he was asked by a reporter, why didn't Trump win? And here was his justification.
In the long history of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think this committee have seen any type of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people wanting to say what for them leads to peace. This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel.
Oh, sits in a room full of portraits of the past laureates. Oh, okay. Like good old Barack Hussein Obama, who won the Nobel Peace Prize in, 2009, less than 9 months after taking office. His first term. Like, dude had not done anything yet, but the Nobel Committee said it awarded him the prize for his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. So it turns out the Nobel Peace Prize is just won if you just talk about peace. Because the chick who just won it didn't really do anything, but she talked about it. She wanted to. She tried real hard. Barack Obama won the Peace Prize. He talked about it. He didn't make it. By the way, that was something that even liberals were admitting when the award was given to him, that this was based on aspirations, not necessarily accomplishments. He hadn't actually done anything concrete, but he is the first black president of the United States, after all. And by the way, Obama actually himself admitted that he did not even deserve it.
I cannot argue with those who find these men and women, some known, some obscure to all but those they help, to be far more deserving of this honor than I.
Okay. Interesting, because as he was saying that, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were still going on.
But perhaps the most profound issue surrounding my receipt of this prize is the fact that I am the commander-in-chief of the military, of a nation, in the midst of two wars.
Oh.
And I'm responsible for the deployment of thousands of young Americans to battle in a distant land.
Is war peace?
And some will kill.
Is peace war?
And some will be killed.
Oh. That doesn't sound very peaceful. Killing and being killed, that doesn't sound very peaceful, Barack. That doesn't sound very peaceful at all. So 2 wars at that time. How many wars is America in under President Trump? Oh, 0. Gotcha. And by the way, later in Obama's presidency, just so we're clear here about what it takes to be a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Later on in his presidency, he expanded drone strikes in Libya, in Syria. He was like flattening countries. He was killing innocents. He was like the bomber in chief. And it's just laughable to see when you go back and you look at, I mean, how this has just been like not a serious thing since Barack Obama won it. The Nobel team in 2009 praised Obama's rhetoric about nuclear disarmament and a new tone of engagement in global politics. So that's important to you guys. It's so interesting because President Trump has literally been talking about nuclear disarmament for years.
I'm also calling on every nation to join us in ending the development of biological weapons once and for all. And biological is terrible, and nuclear is even beyond, and we include nuclear in that. We want to have a cessation of the development of nuclear weapons.
By the way, the man, he doesn't even want to utter the whole word.
Be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are 2 N-words, and you can't use either of them. Can't use either of them.
Name me a president who's done that, huh? This is just Trump, okay? So when you compare the chick who won it, who didn't do anything this year, and you compare Barack Obama, and you compare his wishes, his talking points, but he was a great orator. He spoke about peace. Let's compare that, speaking about peace, to what President Trump has actually accomplished. You've got first the Abraham Accord. Okay, President Trump helped broker normalization agreements between Israel and several Arab states. Had never been done before. How about the fact that over with North Korea, he held an unprecedented summit opening talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, Rocket Man, of course, lowering the risk of nuclear war. Then he helped mediate the Armenia-Azerbaijan corridor. And they literally, by the way, they called it TRIP. What does that stand for, you might ask? Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity. His name is in the mediation agreement. He held a peace summit at the White House in an attempt to end the Russia-Ukraine war. Remember that? He brokered a ceasefire deal between Israel and Iran. He helped broker the Rwanda-Congo peace treaty. Oh, I'm still going. He was a leading figure in the de-escalation between India and Pakistan. These are 2 nuclear powers. And President Trump was essential. And you know he was essential because the Prime Minister of Canada, as you see in this headline, was forced to credit Donald Trump. Do you know how much it pains these people to give him any sort of credit? They hate him. He had no choice because Donald Trump was the leading figure. Donald Trump was instrumental in yet another version of peace around the world. And by the way, these are 2 powers that had been at war for like ever. Donald Trump was like, let me just stop. Let me in. Let me talk to him. I can fix this. But no, No, that's okay. Don't give it. It's fine. And again, guys, by the way, I said this yesterday. I said he's not going to win it. It's not like he's not going to. I get that. But I just wanted you guys to remember who it is that we're giving these awards to. I mean, I can't think of a single traditional award these days that actually matters anymore, that hasn't been overtaken by these liberal shills. So, no, he didn't win. Do I care? No, because what matters is not talk like Obama. It's not talk like some chick from Venezuela who she thinks really hard though about it. She wishes a lot. It's more important to have actual peace. And that is what President Trump has done. And if the history books are written fairly, they will reflect that. Make sure that you subscribe to the show, Sara Gonzales Unfiltered, over on YouTube's. Make sure to hit the like button as well. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the bell. Hit all the things. Also comment. It'll help us in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us. And share the show with a friend if you'd like. All right. We've got to thank our sponsor and pay the bills. And then we're going to be back with my first guest. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Relief Factor. So Relief Factor is there for those of you who maybe you've reached the age where things just don't feel as good as they used to. And you've got back pain, knee pain, neck pain. And you're like, wow, this really sucks. I kind of don't like my life anymore. Because it nags at you all the time. Try Relief Factor if that is you. It's an all-natural anti-inflammatory. And 70% of the people who order this 3-week quick start that I'm about to show you go on to keep ordering more. That's how many people it's working for. It's less than $1 a day to try. And if it works for you, and you are in that majority, it totally change your life. Improve your quality of life. That's life-changing. All right, go check out that 3-week quick start over at relieffactor.com. That is relieffactor.com. I would say there are a few really great people carrying out investigations into the deep state. A few people who are willing to expose corruption from some of the highest levels of government. But I can't think of anyone that does it better than James O'Keefe, who, of course, you know from Project Veritas and now the O'Keefe Media Group. And he's got another big expose that just dropped. The headline, let me just read you this. I defied my government for love. U.S. State Department Foreign Service officer dated senior CCP leader's daughter, admits she could have been a spy. Oh, and then refused to report her. Here is a snippet of this video.
You said you dated a Chinese girl?
Work based on so she got this work visa to work for this American company that does a lot of research. Yeah, I was supposed to whatever.
Because I think I know the way it works.
Sort of report what I knew about her.
Were they worried? Like, is there a concern that it could be related to CCP though?
Yeah. I mean,
they need to
she could take. I know her dad. Her dad was either a provincial or a federal minister of education.
Yeah.
So he's straight up Communist Party. I don't know. She could have been a spy even. I don't really know.
I don't know. She could have been a spy even. I don't really know.
I defied my government for love.
So casually, yeah, she could have been a spy. I don't know. Welcome to the show, the founder of both Project Veritas and O'Keefe Media Group, James O'Keefe. James, thanks for joining me. I could not believe how casually this guy's like, yeah, it's just a relative of the CCP. What possibly could go wrong here?
Oh, thank God I was not a Chinese spy when I was recording this guy or engaged in some blackmail or nefarious purpose. But yeah, this is Daniel Choi. Worked at the State Department for almost 20 years and was in charge of vetting all student visas from China, a program that recent arrests show has become less about education and a pipeline for infiltration and espionage. So this is a guy in the State Department talking to a random stranger about he's sleeping with a Chinese spy whose father is this woman that he was sleeping with, the daughter of the Chinese Communist Party, the State Department confirmed. And now he's been fired, which is really extraordinary because it's the first time in American history that the executive branch of government has fired a State Department official in this way.
Yeah, I mean, and that is extraordinary. Obviously, it wouldn't have happened without all of your work. So I understand, James, you are the best at what you do, and I wouldn't ever ask you, just as you don't ask a magician to reveal his secrets. I wouldn't ask you to reveal all of your, your behind the scenes secrets. But I keep watching these, and I'm like, how are you getting these people to talk? You just randomly in conversation. He's like, oh yeah, it turns out I was dating a member of the CCP. Like, how is it that these men are always so willing to just spill the beans on all this?
I think we have to look at it a little differently than the way that people look at it when they ask that question, because it's a good question. But I think if you change your perspective on the way things are in the world, that all around us, everything's a lie. I mean, I've come to the conclusion that there's so much fraud. Things are so systemically broken in our world, in our politics, in our government. There's a conspiracy of silence that everyone maintains. We all know it's BS, but we don't talk about it. So when the official narrative is so far afield from reality, all you have to do is point your hidden camera in any direction and you'll contradict what the official narrative is. So we've gotten 10 people or so fired from the deep state in the last 6 months. 10 individuals have been fired because they and you might think this is sophisticated undercover work. Well, we do a good job and we have a good team and we're able to find these people, but this is not like the 10th meeting with this guy. This is the first meeting with this guy. Within the first few minutes of sitting down, they behave this way. And it's because there's no ethics and there's no integrity. There's no accountability too, Sarah. There's zero accountability in our government whatsoever. No one's been held accountable for anything as far as I know. I know that the Attorney General just went after James Comey. And they're going after Letitia James. But to this day, I've been in handcuffs twice by my FBI. No one has been arrested. So when you have a world that's built completely on lies and no one's held accountable for anything, you have situations like this U.S. diplomat bragging to the girl that he's sleeping with a Chinese spy because he knows that he'll never get in trouble for anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point because this has been the culmination of decades of these people, these deep staters just having absolutely no consequences is the only reason that I could think of as to why he would be so arrogant to just brag about this in broad daylight and at the first meeting. But it also leads me to another issue, I think, where I'm not sure that Americans understand how dangerous it is to be flirting with the CCP, how dangerous it is that the CCP would have our data, our information, that he would be in charge of these student visas, that they would be coming into our schools. I mean, I think that the average American doesn't quite understand that in many ways, China is already at war with us in ways that we don't even understand or are not taking the time to fight back against.
And including in these ways, sending girls to get compromising materials. Yeah, this guy was getting Chinese student visas and into the U.S. university system as a U.S. diplomat. Daniel Choi is his name. Worked in the State Department for 2 decades. I mean, it's dangerous. Yeah. And I keep saying it. Thank God I'm not. I mean, I'm one of the few men who collect this information not for purposes of trying to use it as leverage. I'm collecting this information so the public may see it. But most of the time, dark forces collect this type of information to use it as leverage. And there's been many books written about this. And blackmail is a serious problem in Washington, D.C. And there's more spies in Washington, D.C. than anywhere in the world. So it's a huge problem. And we have an accountability crisis in our world. People say, what's the solution? James O'Keefe, what can I do? That's the other question I get asked. What can I do? Well, obviously, this type of thing is creating more accountability than you're getting from your own government. So perhaps we need to do more of this type of thing. It's getting people fired. It helps people understand. It acts as a deterrent to other would-be fraudsters who are behaving unethically and doing this sort of behavior. So we need people to sign up, obviously, to be American swipers at O'KeefeMediaGroup.com. And if you see something, record it and report it, because that's the power of the First Amendment. And we have the New York Times. I'm holding this up because my staff gave it to me. The New York Times has been forced to report about this investigation. That's pretty extraordinary. The New York Times writing, quote, "They fired diplomat discussing the relationship while being secretly recorded by another woman he met who works for the media figure James O'Keefe." Man, they must have been dragged kicking and screaming to report that in today's print edition of the New York Times.
Yeah, I can see the tears now as they're having to type the words James O'Keefe, and they're like, oh, God, dang it, he did it again.
Yeah. Oh man. And that's the power of real journalism, where you're exposing reality is more effective, more potent than opining and conjecture and thoughts. We need more of that type of journalism. So this deep state that we have, this administrative state, is on notice because people might be sitting across from you, might have a hidden camera, as I've said to you many times, and it's happening, and it's going to continue to happen. And as I said in my video, we're about to break another big one in a week or two in our government. Real fraud, embezzlement, wire fraud, corruption at the highest levels, hundreds of millions of dollars, and stolen money. And it's going to get to the point where if people aren't arrested, if there's no prison, forget hangings and all that stuff they used to do. There's a discussion we can have about whether we should amend the Constitution and bring back cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
But if no one's even arrested for this stuff, maybe it's time we start investigating the people who have the power to make the arrests.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Well, tell everyone where they can find the full video of this latest expose, and then where they can go to stay tuned and stay up to date on this next one that you've just mentioned.
Well, most people just get their news from social media these days. So you can follow us at my name, James O'Keefe, III. I'm James O'Keefe III. My father was Junior. My grandfather was Senior. James O'Keefe, III at Twitter, X, Instagram, Truth Social, Facebook, whatever you care to follow us on, YouTube. And you can also go to our website, o'keefemediagroup.com, o'keefemediagroup.com. And you can donate to us. You can subscribe to us. You can become an undercover person. And we need more undercover people, particularly in Washington, D.C. I don't go to Washington, D.C., by the way. I never go there unless I'm confronting a bad guy or secretly recording a government official.
Yeah.
And I do it myself. They still don't recognize me. That shows their egotism, their narcissism, their lack of accountability. People say, how do they not recognize you, James? That would presuppose that they care about anything besides themselves.
That's a great point.
So go to our website, o'keefemediagroup.com, sign up, donate, and stay tuned.
Yes, I appreciate all of your great work, James. And that's a great point. They always, you'll wear like just a mustache. And then it's just, for me, I'm like, it's totally James. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't know it was
There's
you.
one I have coming out where I wore the most ridiculous wig ever. And you're thinking, how could they not know that it's you? And then people always say, James, how do you get away with it? And it's just because they don't even care about me. They care about themselves.
That's a great point.
And unfortunately we live in that type of society. And so I'm just going to keep, I'll always have a job. I'll always have fraud to expose.
They're making it a little bit easier for you, which I'm sure you appreciate. James O'Keefe, of course, of O'Keefe Media Group. Thank you so much, my friend. Great work.
Thank you.
And make sure to go donate, and make sure, if you are so led, if you want to be an undercover journalist, citizen journalists are the best kind. So make sure that you go over to his website and sign up and donate as you feel so led. All right, we got to take a quick break. We will be back with more, but we want to thank our sponsor, Preborn. So Preborn, guys, I can't sing enough good graces about Preborn. Preborn it's very simple. Preborn is, instead of a woman who is pregnant going into Planned Parenthood and being sold a bunch of lies like this is just a clump of cells and you're not going to be regretful at all if you just suck it out of your body. Preborn is actually showing women the truth on ultrasound. It is so powerful because they don't have to lie. They don't have to say, it's just right there on ultrasound. The mom hears the heartbeat, and in that moment, she is twice as likely to choose life for her baby. I can't think of a more worthy cause than just literally saving babies' lives. Ultrasounds cost money, $28 to be precise. $28 is the cost of an ultrasound. So I'm asking you, can you help us save one baby's life? Can you help us with one ultrasound? Can you help us with more? Great. But if you can only help us with one, that is one baby's life that you have just saved. You can donate by going to preborn.com/Sara. That is preborn.com/Sara. All right, this is going to be a fun panel today. We've got Matthew Marsden joining us from his home studio, Blaze TV contributor, along with Adam Johnson, of course, famous former felon. now turned author. And I have to, I'm actually a little bit surprised. Matt, are you wearing a gay pride shirt?
No, this is Atari. Look at that.
It just looked like a rainbow. It looked like a rainbow.
No, and by the way, we were just saying, me and Adam were just saying that we both have matching scars now. We're kind of like twinnies because we both had the same operation.
Yeah. Well, I can't even see Adam's. So there's hope for you yet.
Yeah. Well, now you've got to do it, else you're not in the club.
Well, unfortunately, I feel like I am gonna have to do it. So.
It's a lot of Lubriderm. You gotta, heal the scar.
Yeah.
A lot of lotion.
Well, okay. So before we start, I want to make sure to promote you guys and what you guys are doing. So Matt, you've got a great YouTube channel. It is Matthew D. Marsden. Make sure to follow him on social media, but also subscribe to his YouTube channel. And then Adam, tell everyone where they can find your book.
You can purchase my book on my website. It is unlicenssedfurnituremovers.com. That's my website, and I really enjoy it. Lots of products there, a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. So if you're interested in reading a book about the government and how much they are awful, I recommend picking up a book.
Which you do know personally about unlicensed furniture moving, because you did move a lectern a couple feet from where it was in the Capitol, and that turned out to be a really, really poor decision on your part.
Yeah, they didn't take too kindly to that. They really, really like their furniture and not being touched. So learned my lesson.
Unlicensedfurnituremovers.com. Make sure to go check out Adam's book about his experience and being just like persecuted, politically persecuted by the government from all of the January 6th debacle. So RFK, Bobby, good old Bobby, is still working on figuring out the autism epidemic. And I know there were a lot of people who were like, oh, he said it was Tylenol. And there were people who were like, he's full of shit. And then there were other people who were like, oh, great, case closed, it's Tylenol, we can walk away. It's actually, there's like a lot more work to be done, because this was just, hey, it turns out that babies who take this are more likely to develop it, so let's look into it. And so there's another theory that he floated yesterday that I found to be particularly interesting on another aspect of an increase in autism and why it may be. Watch.
There's many other confirmation studies. There's 2 studies that show children who are circumcised early have double the rate of autism. And it's highly likely because they're given Tylenol. So, none of this is dispositive, but all of it is stuff that we should be paying attention to.
So I heard that and I was like, oh, duh, that makes perfect sense, because there are a lot of doctors who will say before boys get circumcised, just give them Tylenol, go ahead and dose them up now. It'll hurt less whenever they get it done, and then give them Tylenol afterwards so that the baby is not in pain. And so that, my mind, obviously, I was like, okay, that makes sense. I'm tracking. However, Jerry Nadler, completely different take. He said, this is an anti-Semitic remark. I call on all my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to clearly denounce it. What? I'm fairly certain, we checked the statistics on this. 80% of all males get circumcised, but only 2% of the American population are Jewish. So I'm trying to connect the dots on how that's anti-Semitic. Now, I will give Jerry the benefit of the doubt. I did not at all see that type of reply coming. Like that, I did. He surprised me. And usually the Democrats don't surprise me at all. Adam?
Well, it's an odd topic. Circumcision really is it's a game of shirts and skins we play with babies from a very young age.
It is.
And also, Jerry's kind of all over the place, except for, the upper cabinets in his kitchen. I don't know why he made it this way or made anything to do about the Jewish community. It's a procedure that I personally find to be barbaric. I was circumcised later in life. It was a terrible escalator accident that happened, not my choice, but I did not take Tylenol for that, and I don't have autism. So I'm thankful for that. My mom gave me the option when I was older.
I believe we call that anecdotal evidence.
Study of one, yeah, and sample of one.
Matt.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that were very shocking to me when I first came to America. I could tell you some stories about it, but I won't. How
your elevator accident too?
Well, no, I'm fine. I'm just fine. I'm how God intended me. But no, when we had our first child here, they were saying, okay, well, you're going to get him circumcised. I'm like, why would I do that? I'm not Jewish. Yeah. And that was how I found out that the majority of American males are circumcised. Otherwise, I didn't know that. So, and I don't know exactly why that is. But it is funny that all of a sudden on something like this, the Democrats all of a sudden care about the Jews. Mm-hmm. Like all of a sudden, you can have people protesting on campuses. You can have all this unrest. You can have people marching through the streets with Palestinian flags, and they don't care, seemingly, right? Or they'll try and excuse it away. And then he goes, it's anti-Semitism. Like these people, they're so out of touch. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, from the river to the sea, Israel doesn't have a right to exist, but nothing, to your point, Matt. And they make a comment about circumcision and autism, and all of a sudden, RFK Jr. is an anti-Semite. It's actually insane. Another insane liberal who can't keep their own virtues straight is Whoopi Goldberg. And she, in her complaining about Bad Bunny being at the Super Bowl and, Kristi Noem saying, yeah, Bad Bunny should be afraid of ICE because maybe we'll just go to the Super Bowl and find out how many of those Bad Bunny fans are here legally. Whoopi Goldberg, with the 2 brain cells she had to rub together, came up with a very bright idea.
She's going to go to the Super Bowl and round up. How's she going to know who's who?
Because the Supreme Court has given permission to question anyone who has a Spanish accent who has a dark skin.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everybody, get a little cocoa butter, sit in the sun. That's the first thing. and this is the only time you can probably ever do this. Give yourself a Latin accent.
Whoopi, that is such a good idea.
And see,
people get fired for this.
She can tell who's who.
Like Megyn Kelly lost her career on mainstream media for doing that, and now all of a sudden Whoopi's like, it's fine, just do it, but it's blackface for good, not blackface for bad. Therefore, it's okay. Adam.
Well, we all know that the View is the place where ovaries go to die, and apparently brain cells as well. But, Whoopi really is just one of those people who just, I don't know, anything she talks about makes zero sense at all. I mean, giving people, I guess, the ability to do brownface now and not be canceled. Is that where we are?
Yeah.
In the Democratic Party? I mean, okay. And again, so she's admitting it's very easy to identify who these people are, right? So she starts out saying, how are they going to know? But then she immediately goes into, well, this is how they'll know because they're brown and have a Latin accent. She answered her own question.
Yeah, just get them to pronounce Walmart. And if they can't pronounce it correctly, then you're going to know. All right, you're coming with me. Okay, your time's up. Matt, what say you?
Well, I mean, again, they show how racist they are because to me, if you're in here illegally, it's your illegal status is what I have a problem with, not the color of your skin. And there are many, many illegals from all over the world, right? There are many, many illegals here from Asia, for example.
I don't think they're Bad Bunny fans, though, Matt. I don't think the Asian illegals are Bad Bunny fans.
You don't know.
Well, that's you're right. You're right. Sorry.
I think you're being very prejudiced now. Is that saying that No, but I mean, it really is unbelievable. But then again, these are the people that gave Jimmy Kimmel a pass. I mean, like I said, I think this whole blackface thing is absolutely absurd anyway. I think that if you're gonna, I didn't have a problem with the Wayans brothers doing white chicks. It doesn't bother me. And the quicker we get away from all this, the better. But again, they show you that they think that the illegals in the country are Hispanic.
Right.
I'm saying there's all different people from all over the world. I know a friend of mine that was Irish that came over that was illegal. So my take on it, as you know, is all illegals need to go. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care where you're from. But they just identify the Hispanics. which
Yeah.
I find, it's hilarious to me.
You
They're
could
so
have-
prejudiced.
You could have snow white skin from Norway, and if you are here illegally, I welcome your departure. It really doesn't matter. It's really simple, and we've been really consistent on that. On the topic of illegal aliens, there's another crazy lib, Representative Rosa DeLauro, who, guys, you're going to love this. She says, according to Rosa, it's actually in the Bible to give health care to illegals.
Beliefs are rooted in the Bible, that the Bible is his worldview. And I will just say to you, he is a man of faith. I will agree to that. And he says that those beliefs are rooted in the Bible. But the Bible is replete with guidance of attention to act as a community, to focus in on the poor. And the Bible lays out a faith-based policy agenda. It espouses social justice. And so I do not understand people of faith, and I don't understand the speaker, about how the healthcare crisis.
There's a lot you don't understand,
fits
honey.
with
We
that
know.
worldview.
We know there is a lot that you don't understand, but what I don't understand is I thought that they didn't want to give healthcare to illegal aliens. Like, I thought that that was a Republican lie. That was a right-wing nut job conspiracy theory. So I can't even keep up with whether or not they want to even do that, Matt.
Well, I mean, we know that they're hypocrites, right? By the way, first thing is never trust anyone with purple hair to tell you anything about what the Bible has to say, right? That's just a given, right? If you have your hair color like that and you look like some weird, like she looks like a cartoon character, don't she? So don't take your Bible study with her. And then if you're to turn around and say, okay, well, if you're going to quote the Bible, let's look at what Jesus says about other things. Oh, hang on a minute. They don't want to do that, do they? This is a typical leftist ploy. They're all over the place, as you said, Seth. They're all over the place. Hang on. Are you telling me that it's a Republican thing? Right? They can't keep their story straight. We know this, that because every single thing that liberalism is built on is there's nothing tangible about it. It's all built on sand. They have no morals. They'll say whatever they need to say to get their point across or to win. So, I mean, like I said, purple hair freaks, even if you go to church, you see a purple haired freak there, turn around and leave because they're not going to be saying anything good.
Amen, Adam.
It comes out in the baptismal pool. Yeah, exactly. The statute which says, give me your tired, give me your poor. And she's also harping on the Bible, it's supposed to take care of the least of us. But, if you read the Bible, it talks about taking care of those closest to us, those that we're personally responsible for, our family, our friends, our direct relationships. And where we stand right now in an economy in our country is we're not talking about the tired and poor, not taking care of them. We're talking about the inability of being able to take care of our own families because things are expensive, because, the mortgages are high, inflation's high, food's high, gas is high. We have those problems to deal with specifically first. Those are our priorities. And the tired and poor that we're talking about after that, those tertiary circles, those outer rings, we're not talking about MS-13 people. We're not talking about gangbangers coming in from other countries. We're not talking about rapists and adulterers and molesters that come here and want to ruin our country. Those are not the people that we want in our country. And so when they try to do this thing where they say those two groups of people are synonymous or one group is not equated to that, they're lying to us.
Yeah.
We are talking about one specific group of people, those that come here who are unvetted, who mean to do our country harm, who refuse to assimilate.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also like shocking that they don't understand that this would be encouragement to give as like a charity type situation, not the government needs to dictate that you are forced to give your money to whoever the government deems, less fortunate or more worthy of your money. That obviously is not a principle that is located in the Bible at all. Steven, can you pull up my screen? I found out who that chick looks like. She looks like Vector from Despicable Me. Tell me that isn't exactly who that is. I wish that we could get it side by side. Ah, there it is!
That's it.
It's Vector with purple hair. Oh, man, I nailed it. All right, great job, control room. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to keep you guys with me, and then we're going to take a quick break, and then we are going to be back with more. You're not going to want to miss it. So it has been a month, actually, since Charlie Kirk was killed, and it has been probably the longest month of my life. I can't believe that it's only been 1 month. And at the same time, it's like, wow, it's already been a month. And you would hope that the left would have learned to just stop making fun of it, but they didn't. And I want to play for you guys Trevor Noah making a mockery of Charlie.
Meanwhile, here, comedians are shitting themselves. Don't say anything about Charlie Kirk. I wasn't going to say anything about, but don't say anything about Charlie. I wasn't going to say anything about Charlie Kirk, but don't. There's nothing funny about it. Oh, now you tested me. I mean, there's nothing funny about it? You can't say there's nothing funny about it. No, there's nothing fun. No, don't say that, because as a comedian, I'll be like, I'm sure there's something funny about it. The guy was shot while defending guns. Do you understand how? I'm not even writing that as a joke. As a human, you have to admit that is an incongruous, funny thing that happens. You are there, you're like on stage, and you're like, let me tell you why people should have guns. Wah-ha!
Now, before I toss it to you guys, I want to be clear. I do believe in no censorship of comedy, but I think that when you apply that principle, you have to be funny. And it just isn't funny to me. Maybe I'm missing it, but like it actually isn't incongruent at all if you understood our founding documents and you understood what the Second Amendment was all about. So it's like if you're gonna make fun of something like someone's death, a person who you didn't like in their death, you probably better bring your A game and make sure that it's actually funny. And here, of course, you have Trevor Noah, in my opinion, just not meeting that criteria at all. Adam.
Well, the left has been very good with comedy as long as it's clapter and not laughter.
Right.
And on top of this, these comedy shows are ticketed events. This is not some random place you show up to and maybe someone will be there to give you jokes. People bought tickets because they knew that's what they were getting into. So I think my critique is not just on Trevor Noah, who is out here, still espousing terrible things. He was terrible on The Daily Show, terrible in real life, and now terrible at comedy. It's also about the audience who pays tickets, who want to come to places like that and hear their ideas affirmed.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is, if you want to find the bottom of the barrel, just go to whoever is buying tickets to a Trevor Noah stand-up event, Matt.
Look, wokeism killed comedy.
Yeah.
It just did. I mean, the left absolutely destroyed comedy. And I think that I've never found Trevor Noah funny, and I don't just say that.
Is he one of you?
Huh?
Is he one of you? Where's he from?
No, he's from South Africa.
Oh, okay. Your accents.
Technically one of you.
Well, kind of. Well, so
proxy.
Americans are really as well. But anyway, we won't go there. We won't go there on that one. But no, I mean, I've never found him funny. And I made a comment before. He made some kind of really distasteful joke before. And people said that he was really funny when he was in South Africa. And I don't know if it's like he's fun, because the majority of comedy is making observations about the real world, right? Or about yourself. You make self-deprecating remarks. He doesn't do that at all. And I think that since he moved to the United States and became fabulously wealthy, made millions of dollars, and he's in the I know that world very well, right? The Hollywood world. I know what it's like. He's now completely detached from reality. That was offensive and not funny. And I'm all for off-color jokes, by the way. I'm all for that. Those jokes when you laugh, when you think, oh, I really shouldn't be laughing, those are the best ones. And I think if you watch Chappelle, he's the master of it. But he's completely not politically correct, which is one of the reasons why he's so brilliant. But right. Noah is just not funny. He's not funny. He's clearly not a very nice person. And like I said, we need to get rid of woke for comedy to come back.
Yeah, I completely agree. Let's play one more not funny and also not true videos. I'm just going to let it speak for itself.
So guys keep getting upset with me when they find out I'm trans, and I'm like, okay, there's gotta be a better way at letting people know I'm trans without having to say anything, right? And so that's why I developed this code by wearing this necklace.
It's
As
your
you
face.
can see, it's a lowercase t, which stands for transgender. If you ever see someone out in public who's wearing this necklace, it most likely means that they're transgender and their genitals might be different from what you're expecting. Anyway, please share this video with a friend. That way they can help identify transgender people and just spread the good word.
I mean, obviously it's a cross. Obviously he knows he's just like poking fun at Christians. It's pretty gross stuff. And by the way, there was no question that you were a man. Okay, like that was not. You didn't have to open your mouth. It's just that it's your Adam's apple. Okay, and all of your mannish features. But other than that, yeah, I was totally surprised when I saw that, Matt.
I want everyone to say that I'm a transgender, else they wouldn't realize I'm a transgender.
I mean, look, here's the thing. If these, like, now you're straying into, like, an area where I'm just not very happy, like, really not very happy, you're going to mock our Lord. No, you carry on with that. See how it works out for you. And I mean that sincerely, because there comes a point where you got to go, no, enough, you're not doing that. And by the way, there's not a Christian on this planet that is going to change wearing a cross around their neck because some muppet like this tries to make it trans. I mean, this is just evil. It's evil. And I'm really doing my best not to control or to control my my language right now on what I think about these people.
Yeah, Adam, I think that we have another clip of this trans, I think another view.
Excuse me, sir, there's a young man in here and you're watching out.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police.
It's ma'am, Adam. All right, go ahead, Steven. That's enough. It's ma'am.
So the whole wearing a cross thing, I mean, it actually is very much in line with their ideology. Look at what they did to the rainbow. There's an entire month out of the year, if you put a rainbow on your Twitter or you say this is a promise to God to never flood the earth again, you will be associated with that community. They believe they are empowered enough to take our symbols, things that represent our faith and our lifestyle, and take them for themselves. So when she does this, like, she's doing it obviously in poor taste and obviously as a joke, but I take it very seriously because I think she takes it very seriously. Or sorry, he takes it very seriously.
There you
I was
go.
a bit worried there, dude.
seriously.
I got to tell you, Adam, I was like, what's going on?
Well,
it's a very confusing world. I'm sorry. Went from circumcision to this. It's been a full circle.
Well, that's what I like to do. I like to give you the full Sara Gonzales unfiltered experience and just take you on a journey. That's what we do. I also appreciate you, Adam, being respectful of Matt's pronouns since he's wearing the rainbow shirt today. Anywho, make sure that
I'm getting back into Hollywood.
Make sure
They're
you
gonna
check
accept
out
me again.
unlicensedfurnituremovers.com and Matthew D. Marsden on YouTube. We'll see you Monday.
It does look like a rainbow, doesn't it?